Hello, Eric Gimbal, ericgimbal.com, and today a short video. I'm doing a tour around Tenerife, north of Tenerife, Canary Islands, Spain, with my daughter, Pino. The light is really bad, but I stopped the van. I wanted to tell you a thing. Very often people disregard the use of smartphone for making video or photography, and I would like to tell you more about this. Let's start. I thought I would tell you a bit more about my experience with smartphones. Many people disregard them, but actually there is not much difference between a smartphone and a point-and-shoot camera of 50 years ago or 30 years ago, when we had like a 12, 24 or 36 exposure roll of film in there. And the quality of the lens then, I speak about the basic point-and-shoot like my Kodak 177X or X177, can't remember the name. And the quality was no good, not very good, but it was a souvenir that I made on the spot, okay? And nowadays I think the good smartphone lenses are better than that, those point and shoots. And I think very often people miss picture, miss souvenir, and just because they don't want to use their phone. And I think it's a big mistake. And they say, yes, but the feeling of using a phone is not the same as looking into a viewfinder. And I'll just say one name of a great photographer that sadly died, passed away a few years ago, well, several years ago. His name is Ansel Adams. And I see his stories when he's making a picture with a large format camera, 8x12 or 4x5, and you see that the screen you actually use to decide the composition and the focusing, all this, although it was upside down and inverted left-right, it's the same as watching a telephone, a smartphone screen, because you actually see the picture before making it. And this is where the point is. People don't realize that when you use a large format camera, out of one shoot you have one good picture. When you use medium format, out of 12 shots you actually have 6 good pictures. In 36 roll of film, out of 36 you had 6, and in digital, out of 2000 pictures you have 6 good ones. Why? Because it's not the tool, it's the attitude. Because you actually frame, think before triggering, and this is the whole difference between a good and a bad picture. And using a smartphone, although there are some on the spur of the moment thing you won't frame, nothing, but if you take your time, you'll be able to make great pictures. Actually, I'm showing you several pictures I've made with my iPhone XS Max, but it doesn't need to be such a high-end mobile phone. A smartphone can be a cheap one, although the quality of the optic may be not as good, but you can already enjoy and make great things with it. What's very important when using a telephone is that you do not use the native app for photography or video. As you can see, the light is really bad here, but I had no choice to make it. Oh well, if I get stuck to my van, then it's a bit noisier. So actually you should not use the native apps. Why? Because they are limited. It's important that you actually use third-party apps for video, but also for photography. For photography, in my iPhone I actually use Camera Pro. I also have the Moment app, and the thing is, it lets you configure exactly as a real camera, I mean speed, ISO, aperture depends on the camera. On the iPhone, no, because aperture is fixed. But you can do many things, and you have also other kind of third-party apps. Like I use slow shutter. I'm passing you some pictures with a long exposure picture I've made with it, and it's great. So that let me think about one thing. Actually, when you see that smartphone really get better when you use third-party apps, maybe camera makers, they should have a better or more open system, so third-party could install features on the camera. I know that there is a firmware like a Magic Lantern that make your Canon camera doing more things. And maybe it shows the problem there, is that actually there are some features that they work with Magic Lantern and they don't exist with the native Canon. Because I think the camera we have, they take their top camera and they strip them, so there are many features that actually exist in the firmware, but they're not active. You don't even know that it's there. So because they want you to buy a higher end product. So maybe if it was an open system, they would lose some sales, because maybe your basic camera can do a lot more, even the same as the just on top camera, or even 2 or 3 models higher than your camera. So that's probably why they don't let third party put their hands in their firmware. But I think that would be a great idea, because when you see the possibilities using third-party apps on a smartphone, I think camera would get far better. Well, I even work on my iPhone, I work with RAW files, so I really actually edit or in my computer or directly with Lightroom in my iPhone. And there are many phones that let you work with RAW files. So when you see that, actually the result very often is better than the basic reflex camera we see. It's true that the basic reflex camera is cheaper than an iPhone, okay? So that's it, that was a short video. Thank you for watching it. I invite you to think about the use of a smartphone. Don't be ashamed, use it if you have it. If you don't have it, obviously use your camera. But if you have one, give it a try. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a small subscribe button down there and a small bell. If you touch it, you will get notified every time I upload a new video. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below, or send me an email to info@ericgimbal.com. And by the way, I've put below my playlist, my YouTube playlist, and also in description I've put a list of the gear I use with links to Amazon UK and Amazon US. So if you want to buy anything and use my link, give me a small commission. It costs you the same thing, but it helps me. Thank you very much. Bye.